Hi, I'm Michelle from ETC English. Today, I'm going to help you develop your IELTS listening skills with summary completion questions. These questions test your ability to understand main ideas and key details. First, learning how to identify this type of question, and then we will focus on where to find your answers. And finally, how to answer the prompt itself. Here we go. First of all, how do you recognize summary completion? In your IELTS, you will be provided with a summary of the conversation. With gaps to fill in, it can be given in a paragraph form or in a point form. Now let's move on to the next step. Where to find the answer? If you just keep listening to the audio without any tactics, you will probably get lost. In the IELTS recording, they will give you some time to read the questions. For each segment of the summary, you have to decide what sort of information you're going to be listening for. You have to understand what each segment is talking about so that you will be able to follow through the questions. This is an example from IELTS listening section.
Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
How will you know if Asian bees have entered Australia?
We're looking at the diet of the bird called the rainbow bee-eater. The bee-eater doesn't care what it eats as long as they're insects.
The sentence of this summary is stating about the food. These birds eat, so when you hear something about food, you have to automatically prepare for the answer. When you have time to look at your questions, before the audio plays through making questions, to ask about the information you need. This will help you predict what type of information you need last, but not least, thing you should focus on. The grammar of the sentence in the audio. Some information might be said in an active voice, but in the booklet it could be written in passive form. In this case, you need to change the wording of the listening to fitted in the sentence, which is insects. Now let's go through this example question with the previous step completed. We must know that the second sentence of this summary is saying there is a location which is used by the birds for something. And researchers like to go there, so we know that we need to find out that's something from the audio. Try making a question about this information. What is the location used for? The question makes clear that we need to find the purpose of that specific location, and I'm guessing that it could be some sort of a gerund verb like sleeping, relaxing, etc., but not for sure. And now let's listen to the audio try answer for yourself.
That sounds a bit unpleasant. So how do you go about it?
In the field, we track down the bee-eaters and find their favourite feeding spots, the places where the birds usually feed.
I believe that you found the answer, which is feeding. That's basically it for the summary completion question. My personal advice: don't panic if you lose your focus when the audio is playing. That's a game over because you will most likely miss the next 2 to 3 questions too. Instead, just go to the next question and guess the missed one later when you have time. Thanks for watching, and make sure to practice a bunch to master the summary completion skill with our guide, and a lot of practice. I'm 101% positive that you can get your desired score. Good luck!